Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Middle School Fall Sports Recognition Assembly. It's been another great year of sports for our middle school teams. This morning, we will recognize our student athletes for their efforts and achievements in the following sports: boys and girls cross country, golf, football, volleyball, and boys and girls tennis. You're going to hear the highlights of each team from their coaches, in addition to each student receiving a certificate, and then we'll have the announcement of our 2 award winners from each program. And as you can see, the hardware right in front, we had a great fall. 4 championships and 2 runner-ups, so congratulations. For some of you, this is your first assembly of this sort this year. So the 5th graders and some of the new student athletes. So we have a tradition, when your name is called, we do and then we wait till everyone has been up here before we give an applause for the entire team. And then our coach then will give a synopsis of the season before our 2 award winners. So special thanks to our 2 biggest cheerleaders, Mr. Peter Eustace and Mrs. Monica Messner, for your support throughout the whole year. My assistant, Richard Holland, and of course, I think she's in the back there somewhere, Mrs. Compton. She's, there she is. Almost daily, helping me in many ways, so thank you. Mr. Spratt and his crew, a lot of times you don't see all the behind the scenes things that go on to make sure everything is good for you all when you go on the field of court before your contests and practices. The teachers and the student body, this is maybe what I appreciate the most when I have the opportunity to go to games, events, and to see how you support each other. So thank you, and thank each other for all the support that you give each other through the good and the bad times, the hard defeats that we have, and then all the gracious victories that we have. So great job, and keep it going. As you know, we went through a transition this fall early on, so when you have an opportunity, go into the training room and thank Matt, our new athletic trainer, Matt Noel. He's didn't have time to breathe. They were off running right away after we had started school already. So he's done a pretty good job, and it will just get better as the year goes on, and he gets to know each and every single one of you. Our Booster Club, obviously that's all of our parents collectively, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. The team parents that do just a wonderful job, and of course, our coaches: Eric Miller, Mo Bailey, Myron Hunt, Ryan Coe, Richard Holland, Jimmy Cronin, Harry Batchelor, Amber Palermo, Chuck Bissell, Ryan Batchelor, Colette Cassidy, and Bert Rayburn. Thank you very much. Last, our bus drivers. Okay, so when you get an opportunity, thank them. Miss Shirley, Miss Nini, she's too much. And she's there for all of you. When you have a tough loss, she's there cheering you up. She's our greatest cheerleader, you might say. And she's a Cavalier blue and gold all the way. So when you see her next trip, you're on the bus, give her a big hug. She would appreciate it. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Coach Bailey with middle school volleyball.
All right, good morning. Bless you. Okay. All right. I'd like to thank you. This is loud, isn't it? Again, a couple thank yous as well. Just to reiterate, Coach Holodeck for helping us with our scheduling our games, getting our officials, and scheduling our buses. James for keeping our courts and our locker rooms clean and ready for action. The Booster Club for your undertaking in the concession stand. It is well stocked with smiling faces behind the counter. Again, Miss Nini, our bus driver, loves these kids to death and gets us to where we need to be safely. Thank you to Xavier for helping both teams with your wicked serve, and also the boys that played against the A team on a Friday, helping us get ready for our tournament. We really do appreciate you helping us out. Coach Cassidy, a huge thank you for your willingness to come out and work with these girls. It was her first time coaching volleyball, and she was learning as much as they were, but they really loved working with her. And finally, the parents for allowing your child or children, because I had siblings, to participate in Prep's athletic program and encouraging your daughters on and off the court. I would also like to thank you, the parents, for manning the gate and line judging. This was a very eager group of parents I had this year. They were so good to help me whatever was needed. Sometimes I needed scorekeepers, sometimes I needed line judges, sometimes I just needed somebody to help do something. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. I'm going to talk briefly about both teams for a moment. Both teams improved so much from the beginning of the season. Many were still working on getting their serve over the net to passing back and forth with a partner on, getting 5, 6, and then many times you're getting up to 20. So that was a great improvement. Both of these teams have ran many laps for drop balls during practice and games, but eventually the laps declined over the season because that means they were actually doing what they were supposed to be doing. So that was a huge improvement. This year's team, we have a thing that if you serve 10 serves in a volleyball game, I'll get you a chicken biscuit. So this team only cost me $3, and that was to Bailey, which I do owe her, and it's next Friday, so it's coming, I promise. So we trying to coordinate schedules. It's kind of crazy, so we'll get her a chicken biscuit. Next I'm going to talk about the B team. The B team had a pretty successful season. They finished the season with only 2 losses. This group came together and actually had many rallies between the teams they played. Many times they were also able to have 2 to 3 contacts and send the ball over the net and have many rallies. The B team said they really enjoyed having Coach Bland and the varsity team at practice, playing different fun games with them. So thank you to Coach Bland and the varsity for coming out and helping us. We also have a potential hurdler on the team. In one game, Bailey hurled over Maya Nussbaum to try and save the ball. Never a dull moment with this B team. I look forward to working with this team again next year. And at this time, I'm going to call the members of the B team to come up and receive their certificate. Coach Cassie is going to give you your certificate. All right, starting with Bailey Hang, Tanisha Kumar, Raina Patel, Madison Hubert, Emily Wall, Maya Nussbaum. We're just going to go with Nacha. I don't even want to mess that up so bad. Paola Ramirez Rosas, Angela Sunny, Tanisha Kumar. Oh, sorry, I said her name. Sorry about that, got carried away. All right, next we're going to do our awards for this B team. This is a squad right here. This young lady was always open to making changes to improve her game. She was focused in practice and in games. She encouraged her teammates to stay on task during both practices and in games. With her determination throughout the season, other players would feed off her intensity through her discipline. She became a leader on the team. This year's Cavalier Award goes to Paola Ramirez Rosas, otherwise known to Coach Cassie as Ramirez. Coach Cassie's second award is going to a young lady who had a noticeable path of improvement from the beginning of the season until the very end. She worked hard to make such gains, even though quiet and shy, her improvement spoke volumes on the court. Her court awareness and her fundamental skills improved every day. This year's Coach's Award goes to Tanisha Kumar. this year's 2018 B team. Next, I'm going to talk about the A team. All right. Talking about the A team, even though our record did not complement our season, this was a great group of young ladies. They were a very dedicated group of players. They worked hard day in and day out. They never gave up and always made the other team work for every single point. They came together and ran our offense much faster than the past teams. They understood playing rotations, and every single player improved throughout the course of the season. Again, we always fought hard, and this group did a lot of really good things. I think we only played 3 different teams over the season, and the competition this year was pretty strong, in my opinion. And we played with them in every single game. The points of the games were all very close. Just many times we just fell a little bit short. So we're right where we need to be. But they never let that down. They came back out, they picked themselves up, and we just ran with it. We worked on individual improvement, and I'm really, really pleased. And I think the parents saw from the beginning to the very end a vast improvement. Even though it didn't complement in our record, but that's not, again, we're trying to build fundamentals and building a strong program so that they can succeed at the next level. This is a strong team, mainly composed of 8th graders. Our setters were Priya, Grayson, and Charlotte. We had strong passing from Danny, Caroline, Maggie Walker, Georgia, Maya, Gabriella, and Lila. Our front row attacks were dominated by Mary, Charlotte, and Charlie, our lone 7th grader. And we can't forget our scorekeeper, Mira Chotsky. She did a great job keeping track of all our points. We will miss the 8th graders, but look forward to watching them continue their love of volleyball in the upper school, and the rest I look forward to picking up where we left off. This was a very memorable season, and I thank you for that. I thank you that. I'm going to call the A team up to receive their certificate. All right, Charlie Smith, Maggie Walker, Gabriella Farmer, Charlotte Leroy, Georgia Merchant, Maya Patel, Lila Pitka, Priya Sharma, Caroline Smith, Danny Stevens, Mary Weather, Gracelyn Chung. All right, this is this year's A team. All right, as you know, picking award winners, it's the hardest thing we do all season because you hate to just single out certain kids. And we preach all season about teamwork and playing unselfishly. And this was a very difficult task because this is a really, really strong volleyball group. They did different things to contribute to this year's team, from serving to understanding the rotations. Again, we have our 2 awards. My first award goes to someone who, you know what, I didn't bring, I'm sorry, Mira Chotsky. Where's Mira? Come on up, I forgot you. She's up for our school. She was a big part of both these teams. There we go. My first award goes to someone on the A team that played last year. She is the quarterback of our team. She is a silent leader, always leading by example. She played, I think, in every game, giving every situation the best of her ability. She never gives up and is always trying to save or make a play. She is a hustler, making the play. I look forward to the impact she will have on the team in the upper school. This year's Cavalier Award goes to Priya Sharma. The second award is the Coach's Award. This was hard since everyone on this team is very coachable. I chose a young lady who's been in the program and listens to everything you tell her, and she does it with the best of her ability. She cheered her teammates on and on off the court, played a variety of positions, and had to learn different rotations for these positions. Her serving and hitting improved. I loved her eagerness to do whatever was needed to help her team, never playing unselfishly. My Coach's Award goes to Mary Weather. All right, this is the 2018 A-Team volleyball team.
Next up is Coach Hunt with middle school football.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Talk about our 2018 middle school football team. We had a great season. I was left in pretty good hands. Coach Holland, and Coach Miller kind of took the lumps for us, and they kind of left me in good hands and a great team. So a lot of what I did, the kids made me look good, and then Coach Miller and Coach Holland being there getting them prepared, and Coach Bachelor during the summer, so left me in real good hands, and like I said, they made me look good. We had a great season. We only lost on one team, I think St. Mary's, Augusta, Saints, yeah. So we lost to them twice, 2 great games, and just came up a little bit short. But had a great group of kids, and look forward to having those 6th and 7th graders back next year, and look forward to watching the 8th graders as they advance up to the varsity next year. So this time we'll call out start from the 6th grade, and then we'll have our 2 award winners at the end. And a huge thank you to our athletic director, Coach Holliday. He's here all the time. He's here 7 days a week, and like I said, it's last year, he announced his retirement this year, and so we're going to miss him. So appreciate everything he does, and our admin, teachers, kids, parents, everybody. So appreciate y'all. Started off in 6th grade, Hugh Baird, Lauren Blankenberg, Sam Dozier, Tim Grupner, Denver Hubert, Malia Hunt, Jake Johnson, Lincoln Parada, Robbie Reckenwald. And our 7th graders, we had 3 7th graders, Liam Reardon, Beans Hunt, Locke Hamilton, and on to our 8th graders, Eli Brown, Pig Cronin, Big Boy Henry Dahl, Daniel Hubert, Ethan Fender, Max Marley, Sean Metcalf, Camden Parada, and Jack Rish. One day I'll be able to say I played with Sean Metcalf. Yeah, oh. My bad, hang on, I got 2 sheets. And Hayes Trapp, Solomon Willis, Ethan Fender, Coach Holland, I giving them fine words. And then we had some managers that helped out this year. Andy Trapp, Madison Hubert, Charlie Smith, and somebody else we don't want to forget, and Sophie Marley. So appreciate those ladies that came in, and whether it was 1, 2, 3 games, and all of them were doing other sports, so they helped when they could. All right, like I said, the hardest part about doing this is the award winners. And so we got 2 award winners. We gave 2 Cavalier Awards. First one goes out to a kid. You hear all the coach talk, it's being coachable. You talk to, you've got a middle school kid going to high school, 2 things they want to know is grades and how coachable they are. High school and college are the exact same things. They can take a good kid and do good things with them. If they're not coachable, don't help them. If they're not making grades, there's nothing they can do with them either. So this kid right here is coachable, respectable, always, every day is a yes sir, no sir. Our first Cavalier Award winner is Ethan Fender. And our next one joined us this year, probably most improved. Started and just a raw talent on the football field. Busted his tail every day at practice and got better. Our center, Jack Rich. Oh yeah! Right out here, we have our 2018 middle school football team.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little shout out for our next program coming up. As some of you know, I've been here a couple of years. I was very fortunate to have the older teachers here that have been here a while, you know this. Tony Schaefer was like a brother to me, and did a great job in cross country, and then he moved on. Well, then I had Cornelia Isaac, who was like a sister to me. She moved on. We had a long-time science teacher here, Melissa Gorda, who was here and stepped in and did a very good job. She moved on. What am I going to do? This young man, a rookie, with another rookie assistant, and all they did was win it all this year with both programs. So without further ado, Ryan Batchelor to the podium.
Good morning. My name is Coach Batchelor, and I have the pleasure of coaching the middle school cross-country team this year. I'd like to start by thanking Coach Holodak for everything he did behind the scenes. Couldn't have done it without him. To Coach Palermo, who was a runner at Augusta State and brought over a lot of knowledge about cross-country. To the many parents that helped out volunteering at every single home match, we couldn't have had them without you. To our athletic trainer, fans, booster club, and anyone else who made this season possible. Thank you. I'm going to call up the runners and announce their PR times before I talk about the season. Ruby Dozier, 15:59. Prerna Patel, 2018. Malia Hunt, 14:58. Hannah Kelly, 16:33. Ashley Liu, 18:04. Sophie Marley, 16:32. Annie Trapp, 14:30. Abby Watson, 2026. And for the boys, Thomas Lane Estes, 14:25. Chase Jackson, 19:56. Cohen McAteer, 17:25. Scott Williams, 14:44. Seth Krausen, 17:38. Denver Hubert, 17:45. Gerald Hunt, 12:59. Hank Monig, 16:01. Isaac Thomas, 12:48. Lee Dozier, 14:31. Ethan Fender, 17:02. Sean Henson, 13:04. Max Marley, 14:51. Hayes Trapp, 12:12. And Jacob Yeager, 13:02. All right, this season was a great year from start to finish. We held tryouts this year, and everyone who showed up did so well we ended up not cutting anyone. We had a lot of runners returning from last year, coming off a great season, giving us an opportunity to have another great season. And we did, but it didn't come easy. These kids worked their tails off in practice. Some kids would run up to 5 miles in a practice, or other days we had them running up hills, and many more. But all their hard work paid off. In the first week, we went out there and both the boys and girls won their first meet. Our second meet was an away meet at EDS, and would be our first and only away meet. None of the runners were familiar with the course, but the boys were still able to finish second, while the girls finished third, which I was really proud of them. Our biggest test would be the Augusta Prep Invitational, which featured 288 runners from 14 different schools, including many of the bigger public schools. The boys team was able to finish in first place with 4 runners finishing in the top 10. The girls team finished in 5th place with 2 top 10 runners. The boys and girls would go on to finish the final 3 regular meets with first place victories. Both teams continued to impress in the championship meet, with 17 of our 23 runners setting a personal record in the championship. The boys took home first place with 5 runners finishing in the top 6, barely missing a perfect score. The girls also took home first place with 5 runners finishing in the top 10. All in all, it was a very successful season and we had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you guys for your hard work. Now I will give my individual awards. First, the Coaches Award, which is given to one girl and one boy that impressed me with their hard work and effort throughout the season. Our first girl wasn't even sure if she was going to come out to run, but she showed up to tryouts and she impressed me. But then she left tryouts before I could talk to the team, so I still wasn't sure if she was going to run. She showed up, she did really well, and something clicked about halfway through the season where she figured out she was pretty good at this, and ever since then it was like, Coach, how can I set a PR? How can I catch Annie? She just wanted to be the best, and she ended up cutting off 3 minutes and 17 seconds from her first race to the championship, with 4 top 10 finishes, finishing 7th place in the championship, Ruby Dozier. For the boys, this boy was a good runner last year. He came out again. He was a leader. He was someone I could count on, someone I knew was going to do the right thing, even when I wasn't watching. I named him captain at the beginning of the season, and he went out there, ran, he finished top 10 finishes in every race, 6th place in the championship, setting his PR, and that is Sean Henson. All right, for the Cavalier Award given to the top runners in both the male and females. For the girls, this is someone that a lot of the other younger girls looked up to. She finished 4 first-place finishes in the regular season and 1 second-place finish. In the Invitational, out of 118 girls, she had a second-place finish. In the championship, she was first place with her PR of 14:30. That's Annie Trapp. And for the boys, spoiler, it's another Trapp. In the regular season, he had a perfect season. He went 5 for 5 with first place finishes. In the Invitational, out of 170 boys, he was first place. In the championship, he set his PR and finished first place. It's another person that the younger boys would look up to. They say, hey, as long as we have Hayes, we'd be all right. And we were. Hayes Trapp. This is their 2018 cross-country team.
Next up is middle school golf, and Mr. Peter Yusuf is standing in for Coach Chuck Bissell this morning.
Good morning. Coach Bailey, can you help me? I'm honored to be here this morning standing in for Coach Bissell, who asked me to communicate that he is very sorry he couldn't be here with the team. I know he absolutely enjoyed and got a lot of pleasure in working with the boys this year. I'm going to reverse things a little bit and ask the boys all to come up on stage, and then we'll talk a little bit about the season. I'm not allowed to have favorites, but I'm a little partial to this first kid. So Xavier Eustace, Ham Howington, Locke Howington, Jefferson Murray, Tanner Rush, Carter Warlock. Come on up, guys. Golfers, they don't move so fast. This was what can be considered a successful season for middle school golf, and there are really 3 ways I would define that for this team specifically this year. first would be with their results, so there's a second place trophy down here. And what you may not know is that they finished second for the entire league by 1 stroke. Tough pill to swallow, but 1 stroke. So they finished second, so the results speak for themselves. The second way that you can define this as a successful season for these guys is that both individually and collectively, they continue to get better through the course of the year, which is a huge hallmark for any team. And then third, and I would argue most important, there was incredible character and integrity shown, sportsmanship, during the course of the matches this year. There were multiple times where we were in matches with other schools who don't have as much experience on the golf course, and it wasn't uncommon to see some of these guys helping their competitors out, whether it's a rule or a club selection, or sometimes, quite frankly, which way the hole will go, where do we go to the next hole, that kind of thing. So it was a lot of fun to watch these guys operate and support each other, certainly, but support everybody else that was part of the program as well. And that, to me, says as much as a trophy can say about any team. So congratulations for a great season, guys. The 2 awards, individual awards. First, the Coaches Award. This young man is literally somebody who worked so hard on his game this year that he often came away with blisters on his hands from swinging the club so much. His score didn't always count in the matches, but we could count on him to always be there for each one of the matches. And when you talk about improving during the course of the year and being an important part of the team, Mr. Carter Warlick was certainly that. So the Coaches Award. And the Coaches Award, the Cavalier Award for the golf team, golf's an interesting sport in a lot of ways. It's fairly objective when you look at scores. What's the average score for this student versus that student? And it was interesting because this year on the team, we had both Jefferson and Ham, who were literally separated by mere strokes when you look at the course of the entire season. And neither one is getting the coach or the Cavalier Award. Because what Coach Bissell asked me to communicate to the entire group this morning was that he was focused on improvement as much as anything else, as I've mentioned. And Mr. Locke Howington wins the Cavalier Award this year because he was 10 strokes lower than his season average during the final match. So for that, Mr. Howington, congratulations. 2018 middle school golf.
Person who needs no introduction for middle school tennis, Mr. Ryan Cove.
Good morning. Well, I must say, the ball was in our court for the season, and we certainly aced it, that's for sure. What can I say about that? Wow. What a great season, tennis folks. This year, both our middle school girls and boys team really evolved into a force to be reckoned with. It was truly an awesome tennis season. Both teams finished not only as champions of the Augusta 8th League, but they were undefeated the whole season. It's been a long time since that's happened, so that's an amazing record. We started our first matches early this season. We had less than a week to finalize the team. A good thing we grew better and better with each team we played. Our biggest challenge really was the heat. It was like often over 100 degrees out there when we practiced and played the matches. It was tough for everybody, including the spectators. But nonetheless, we toughed it out, and thanks to all the students and faculty and administration for coming down to support us. It was nice not to have to rally for that support. So looking at our stats to victory, many of our players never lost a match, and if they did, maybe they lost one. And amongst this category of players were second singles Grace Greer, first doubles Liz Bender and Randy Everett Frales, second singles Isaac Thomas, first doubles Tim Greutner and Aiden Understone, and first singles Katie Duplantis. You can really see why we were so successful. We really had a lot of highlights this season, and I really can't go into all of them. We don't have time for that, but I do want to share a common thread with you, and I promise not to string you along. And that was both teams' ability to maintain their mental toughness in tight situations. These were often tiebreakers and really close matches. In fact, this year, the title for the tiebreaker champion in the boys team has been turned over from RJ Marsh to Sullivan Bonney. Sullivan played multiple tiebreakers, and some were against the same opponent, winning, of course, each time. And you gotta feel sorry for his opponent being so close and losing. But that's a great demonstration of great fortitude and perseverance. Another example of this tenacity was the second boys doubles. And everybody wants to be first singles and first doubles, but nobody knows that the second doubles usually is the most important, because you see, we have to play 5 matches, and we have to win 3 of them. And if there's a 2-all tie, it's really down to the last match that's on the court, and it's usually the second doubles. And this happened a couple times with us, and our second doubles, Jacob Yeager and Walker Phillips, they were unbelievable. They won an 8-6 tiebreak, 8-6 score against Westminster to beat them, and we won a 9-8 tiebreaker, winning in the tiebreaker 10-4. So without them, we wouldn't have had this championship. So congratulations to the boys for that. In the case of the girls' matches, they went on cruise control, and every match was either 5-0 or 4-1 the whole season. And in short, they were just stupendous. Some final stats for the girls. This is the second year in a row they have been undefeated during regular season play, and the second year in a row the champions of the league. In fact, furthering the stats, in the last 5 years, Augusta Prep's middle school girls have been the league champion 4 times. Now that's a great record, so congratulations, girls. The girls not only excelled in team matches, they clinched 2 titles for the individual tournament. Katie Duplantis won the title being the best girls singles player of the whole league 2 years in a row, and the first year she played, she was runner-up. Our first doubles clinched the championship of the whole league, and last year our first doubles in the girls also won that, and that was with Julie Grutner and Sage Conley, so that was a great record. So finally, a shout out to all the alternates who played, Victor Baldwin and Arun Jayabalan and Kaylee Hersey for their part in stepping in last minute. Without your help, we would not have that success. So let's welcome our team members with 2 claps. Okay, RJ Marsh. This player is going to make a great doctor someday. He has an unsurpassed amount of patience. His game has been taken to new heights. He no longer settles for tiebreakers. Instead, he slices and chops his way to the top. Isaac Thomas, the drop shot meister. The player that has more trick shots up his sleeve than anyone I know. Never underestimate his skill. He's an ever-ready bunny. He tears through a cross-country race, then competes a flawless 8-game tennis match with not a sweat on his face. Sullivan Bonnie, the tie-break meister. Like RJ, the patience of the saint. However, he's the best opponent to lose to because he'll make you feel good after he clobbers you. He is a real gentleman's gentleman on the sport. He will even clap for you when you hit a winner against him. What a terrific competitor. Tim Greutner and Aiden Underdog Snow, the dynamic duo. This doubles team had a perfect record for the season, not losing a match. They worked as a team, fought as a team, argued as a team, and won as a team. Walker Phillips and Jacob Yeager, the transformer duo. They're more than meets the eye. Their transformation from beginning to the season to the last match was the steepest positive slope I've ever seen in years. And I teach math every day. Walker introduced himself to the tennis racket at the beginning of the season after not having played in a while, and Jacob just met his racket for the first time this year. I knew Jacob's cross-country success was a real feat, but with the racket, he was really hands-on. Alternates Victor Baldwin and Arun Jayabalan, 2 of the most enthusiastic players waiting in the wings to play exhibition matches, attending every match and play, and every practice and match. Victor courageously made his debut stepping up to the plate at the last minute to play 3rd singles against St. Mary's, helping us to win there. For the girls' team, number 1 singles, Katie Duplantis, the most feared opponent in the league. What more can you say? Look for her at the US Open soon. What a fabulous honor to have coached her for the last 3 years. You will be missed in the middle school. Singles 2, Grace Greer, the all unassuming powerhouse. She certainly has lots of grace in her playing until she wallops you with her mighty back forehand. But you'll never get a backhanded comment from her. She's so nice. Number 3, singles, Emery Takori. Made a change from the volleyball team to tennis this season. She made the tennis racket an extension of her hand and played a new kind of volleyball. What a great all-around athlete. The number 1 doubles, the Elizan trio, a duo rather, Elizabeth Bender and Randy Ebron Frail. This team was invincible. Perfect score for the season. From the casual winning shots of Elizabeth to the well-planned tactics tactics of hustle and Randy's footwork. There's nothing frail about this team. Number 2 doubles, the Redera duo, made up of Sarah Bender and Hriday Patel. A mighty duel that will be friendly to you 1 minute and clobber you the next. The alternate, Kaylee Hersey, an awesome alternate, stepped in last minute for an illness and teamed up with Hriday for an 8-0 winner. Very talented player. Okay, now this is the hardest part. I mean, it's been such an honor to work with these members of the tennis team. It's just hard to, I mean, they were all winners in my opinion, but I'm going to start with the girls. The most improved player award goes to an athlete with the greatest attitude, who has tremendous advancement in her game since last year, a true talent on the courts, and really the next up-and-coming champion player, Randy Evron-France. The Cavalier Award goes to someone who really is a true tennis athlete, who's humble, who has a flawless record, did not miss any practices, really one of the most wonderful attitudes, none other than Katie Duplantis. For the boys, the Coaches Award goes to a tennis coach's dream athlete, whose sportsmanship and competitive spirit should earn him a place in the United Nations. He makes us all proud that he's a student athlete of prep. In fact, he impresses his opponent's teams with his encouragement, honesty, and integrity. The individual is not only a model athlete, but a model citizen. It gives me great pleasure and pride to present it to the Sullivan body. Finally, the Coaches Award goes to a tremendous tennis player who has, in this year and years past, shown tenacity, patience, and prowess, and has demonstrated to what being on the team is all about. His enthusiasm for the game never stops. He gives it his best for every match. R.J. Marsh. All right, in closing, I want to thank Mr. Eustace, Ms. Missner, Coach Halldag, and I'm sorry it's the last time I'm going to thank you, but we really appreciate all you've done for us. Coach Holland, Ms. Compton, for all their help and support. But last but not least, all the parents for their incredible help. But I want to say a very, very special thank you to our tennis mom, Mrs. Duplantis, who was just amazing. We started in July with new uniforms, and she and Mr. Duplantis donated their time and resources from the company to embroider all the prep logos on all the uniforms, and made big placards of tennis ball, and we hung it on the fence. I have to show it. It looks so cool. All over the fence. And then made a big banner for the middle school tennis. And middle school tennis doesn't get all these little, fun stuff all the time. So it was amazing what you have done for us, and thank you so much. They supplied every team member with personalized sweat towels with our names on it, created our locker magnets, donated our team lunch, and finally, our team t-shirts, which you all need to come and get. She designed that. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for the Booster Club for all your support. And in closing, thank you for a great season. 2018 Boys and Girls Tennis Champions.
Okay, quickly in closing, thanks again, all of you. And mark your calendars, 11 days to our first basketball game of the season. So come out and start supporting all 4 teams. Award winners, if you come up here quickly, Mr. Chris Gay will get a photo shoot of all of you for the next AP Wire. Congratulations and have a great day. Okay, 8th graders, dismissed.